My path that got me to this point, the Grünewald Guild, I was actually working professionally in a church. And at some point, somebody came up to me and said, I heard about this place. I think it's your kind of place. It's called the Grünewald Guild.
So many people think of music as something you listen to on your iPod, or as theater or something, drama is something you see on TV or somewhere else, when we should be creating those things ourselves. We should be making our own songs, creating our own art, and not just sitting back and being spectators and taking whatever's given to us.
I think Grünewald is the intersection of faith and art because it is a non-judgmental, open place to make art.
And one of my favorite things about what we do in our vocation is to give people the space, the time, the invitation, the permission, the materials to dive in and work with and play with and pray with and reflect with, and to then stand back, for us to stand back and witness what comes out of them. These folks who say, I'm not an artist, or I'm not a poet, or I'm not and discover that they are.
When you have a non-judgmental place to truly be yourself, to express your faith in whatever way you want to. I mean, we are a Christian organization, but we are not limited to Christians. Anybody can come here. Anybody is welcome to come here. And when you are in a safe space, when you are in a space where you don't have to be worried about, oh gosh, I don't know if they want to hear about this thing I was thinking about, this God thing or what have you, then you're free to create expression. And you're free to express yourself in any way possible. And because you're not being judged for it, you're not worried about how good it is or how appropriate it is. You are just doing what you want to make, what you need to make.
The Grünewald Guild experience for me has remained very tangible, and in trying to explain it to others, that's where I find I have opportunity to speak about what's happened to me and to process after the event how it's been, and trying to explain it to others, which isn't always easy, and has resulted in many people actually coming to find out for themselves, even from England. So we talk about it, and it becomes part of our vocabulary.
This place that took faith seriously, but took art seriously. It didn't water either of them down, and we're taking seriously this idea that maybe we could weave the two of them together.
I think that is something that is lacking somewhat in the art world and in the liturgical world, where it is not just art for a purpose and not just art for art's sake, but it is the mending of the two together.
In the dining room we have a coffee bar, and there are handmade mugs there, and they are a wide variety of mugs. Some were made by real master potters who are at the height of their craft. Some were the very first thing that somebody ever made in a beginning pottery class. And we love and use all of those mugs equally, and we savor and enjoy the wonky beginning efforts just as much as the really excellent craft. And I think that that is a representation of the way that we accept both individuals and people's creative efforts here at the Guild. And I think that's a really good representation of Guild culture.
One of the things I love about this place is that it's a two-way street. It's people coming together and hearing each other's stories. It's people coming together and learning something about themselves through someone else who may think a bit differently than them, who may come from a different denomination than them, who may not consider themselves a person of faith. But we come together in this space of sanctuary, of retreat, and explore these things together. And in a world that's so building up these polar opposites that we've always got to be on one side of a line or another, the Guild walks this space of tension where people can come together and say, we're not going to come into this in a dialogue of argument. We're going to come into this in a dialogue of conversation. And sometimes we're going to set those words aside, and we're going to speak to each other in images, in pictures, and we're going to learn about each other in a different way.
If we allow ourselves to open up and be vulnerable in our prayer and our dreaming and our imagination, I believe that the Holy Spirit then has room to come in and nudge us one way or another in ways that we may not even be aware of. So that whatever comes out of us, for instance, a painting, a play, a dance, a piece of writing, it becomes more than us. Without our knowledge, it has a mission in the world. It has a job to do and a life of its own that we have to let go of as if we're parents, letting that child go into the world, and we have no idea how it's going to affect everyone else. And I truly do believe that the Spirit comes in and works through our art to help change humanity and the whole of creation in this fashion, through imagination and prayer and dreaming.